Ladies and gents, we're back. The podcast. Customer service, it's about today. How bad is it getting? I'm going to tell you a couple of my stories here, and hopefully I can be some use to some of you guys out there that if you're not sure how much to tip, I mean, I have to admit, before I used to live in LA, I was in my mid-20s, and I didn't know about tipping really. I really didn't. You know, I really didn't. I didn't have in fact, yeah. Why am I tiptoeing around this? I didn't have a fucking clue about tipping, really. You know? And I was like Steve Buscemi in Reservoir Dogs. If you've seen that movie, they talk about tipping at the start of the movie, and Steve Buscemi's like one of these tight-ass pricks. Now, I'm not saying I was a tight-ass. I just didn't have a clue. And then I went to America, and it completely changed. It was like, whoa, man. And it does take time to adjust, in fairness. It really does. Nicola, good morning. Good morning, Nicola. We're just doing a TikTok live here as well, guys. And we're talking about the customer service. And before we get into it, Manda's now saying about they make false accusations if they can get it for free. Okay, well, that's an interesting one now. Let me know, guys, before we get into this for the podcast, is customer service getting worse these days? Is it the same since coronavirus? Or should we say after coronavirus? Is it worse, same, better? What do you think? So for instance, here's a big one now, right? This didn't even involve me, but I've worked in the customer service business before, so I know what this is like. I went in for Chinese there. It was actually Paddy's weekend, just Paddy's weekend gone. Only, a month ago, whatever it was. And went in to get a Chinese. I went home early one night, so in the bar across the road, I went, fuck it, I'll get a Chinese now. Went straight upstairs, didn't order, just ordered at the reception, sat down, waited for the 15 minutes. So as I'm there anyway, I walk in a midstream argument here with this one lady giving out shit to the girl behind the reception. Like, killing her, right? Killing her. And all of a sudden you could see this poor girl, she's behind the reception. She's only taking reception, like answering the fucking phone here, right? Or meeting and greeting, saying, oh, hello, yes, we have some availability, come on in. And like, that's about it, right? She's not even actually bringing food to the table here. She's not one of the waitresses. I've been in this restaurant enough to know. So she's nothing to do with this. So the girl behind the reception is saying, well, look, I'm very sorry. I didn't bring the food to your table. And I know where she's going with this. Is I'm like, you know, between the lines, why are you giving out to me here? Why don't you just ask for the manager? Or, you know, why are you killing me? So she's like, well, look, I didn't give you the food, but the manager's in behind. And then the woman is in front of everyone in the restaurant, okay? And I mean, there's tables of people surrounding the entire restaurant. The music isn't very high. It's low enough, as you know, in a Chinese restaurant. And she's making a public announcement here. And then she puts up her finger. She puts up her finger, points at the girl, and starts waving her finger. And she goes, excuse me now, miss. I know exactly what I'm looking for. Don't you be telling me what to do. And, oh, you're trying to pass the blame on to the manager? And I actually jumped in. I got off my seat. I went, excuse me, fuck this. I said, who the hell do you think you are? And she went, excuse me? I went, no, excuse you, miss. And I was just right in her. And, by the way, sorry, not physically, okay? In case you're wondering what the hell's he on about. And then all of a sudden, as I'm doing this, I'm standing up. And this is a hand-to-God true story. And I'm standing up at the reception. Or the counter where that girl is behind the counter. And as the moment I'm getting in that girl's face, the girl behind the counter walks over to me and just absolutely bawls down crying, melts down, and she literally leans her head and her arms on the counter and right up close to me. I'm like, what the fuck? And so, like, it's a deep enough counter. It's probably, maybe 3 foot in width. Okay, so she couldn't give me a hug or anything, all right? There's a table between us, but she had to just come almost running over to me and like, oh, thank God someone's here for my rescue. And I kept going anyway. I said, who the hell do you think you are, lady? And I said, by the way, I don't work here. I'm not a delivery guy. I don't work here. I've nothing to do with this restaurant. So don't go online and start bitching and moaning about this place. This is a customer versus a customer here, okay? You should have seen her fucking face. There wasn't one word that came out of this woman's mouth after this. I mean, seriously, guys, I don't care how bad your like, if the waitresses and waitresses were throwing, like literally physically throwing the food on the table from 2 or 3 foot away and hitting you, well, okay, lose your shit. Yeah. But this poor girl was a deer in a headlights here. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And this woman, like, where are people getting the balls, are the delusional mentality to think that if I make a public announcement here and start wagging my finger around, that people are going to be impressed? Is this what she's thinking? Everybody's going to be impressed with me? Everybody's going to be looking at me? Or is this her TikTok moment? I mean, I certainly didn't see any videos out. In fact, if anything, it would have been awesome to take a video of this woman. I mean, Jesus, it would have went viral how much of a bitch this woman was. But seriously, who are you trying to impress? Do you think this is going to impress people? Or do you have some loser husband sitting at home who just does everything for you and just nods and agrees with everything you say? Yeah, you're right, honey. You're right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And she's such a bitch that she wags her finger. I mean, this isn't the first person that she's wagged her finger at. You know what I mean?